I don't think that any of us can argue that politics can be nasty and divisive. I mean, just look at the last 8 years, which is why we are seeking sunshine this holiday week by seeking the golden rule. And there's a minister that's doing that right now by simply pushing an ancient proverb, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's what Reverend Adam Hamilton calls a movement for kindness. It started during the campaign. Instead of touting a candidate, Reverend Hamilton and other pastors across the country put up lawn signs, made T-shirts, gave sermons to preach and promote a value, the Bible's golden rule. The hope was to create a movement that would help transcend America's bitter divisions. Well, did it work, and is it still working? That's the question. Reverend Hamilton from the Church of the Resurrection there in Leawood, Kansas, joins me now. Good to see you, Pastor Adam. Love your neighbor, do unto others, kindness. So we're talking about politics here. Has the movement helped your congregation and other congregations get politically active, you think?
You know, it was exciting to watch people. Everybody knew that we were so polarized and divided, and they wanted to do something about it. And our congregation split about half Republican, half Democrat. And so the opportunity to say, okay, let's go back to what we really believe. You know, the golden rule, we all learned it when we were children. Let's practice that when it comes to politics. So we had yard signs, thousands of them put out. There were hundreds and hundreds of churches across America who joined us. We went in kindness campaigns to do kindness to our neighbors. We said, if you have somebody who's different from you, who's on the opposite political campaign, go out of your way to show kindness to them. This is what it means to be a human being. Jesus said this commandment is the sum of the law and the prophets. And so it was fun to watch. People were changed by it.
Well, as we know, President-elect Trump can stir the pot. He gets people across the country riled up on all kinds of issues. How has this campaign for kindness actually helped congregations discuss contentious issues without alienating fellow members?
Right. I think we said people matter more than issues. And so our folks, we brought people together in small groups to discuss important issues. We invited them to be able to listen to one another and hear one another's sides on those issues. And then to remember, more important than whether you're right on that issue is, do you demonstrate love to your neighbor? And so that's been pivotal. And it's been fun to hear people talk about with their neighbors, their next door neighbors, literally, and how they came to a place where they realized they hadn't been kind to them, and, apologizing and reconciling with people, and then saying, okay, look, when it comes to politics, politics matters, but underneath all that, how do we practice love for our neighbor? How do we do the most loving thing? How do we practice kindness? And that's an essential part of our faith.
So, Art, I'm going to ask you now for a little Christmas magic, because there will be families coming together with very different viewpoints, as you know, this holiday season. Would you suggest no political talk with the eggnog, or can we still gather and not feel so divided and actually talk about what's going on in our country?
Well, I think we can talk about it, but we have to be sensitive to the person on the other side. We have to be able to say, look, I know we're in a different place, and I love you still. And we can talk about these things, but there's also going to be a place where you say, when we start to get heated up about things, look, we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to care for one another and love one another. We're going to see things differently, and we're going to care for each other. And you think about, the Christmas message, the angels announcing, peace on earth, goodwill to all people. And the child whose birth we celebrate, those who are Christians, is one who came to be the king of everyone. And I shared with our congregation this week, I've had 11 different presidents during the course of my lifetime, and some of them were better than others. Some of them were more noble of character than others. We survived all of them. And all of them did some good, and some of them made some bad decisions along the way. And yet, if you're a Christian, you have one king, and your primary allegiance is to do what that king asks. And the thing that he said that mattered most was to love one another, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Well, I also know that you practice what you preach, because I hear you preach both conservative and liberal worldviews. Reverend Adam Hamilton, great to have you with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you.
Same to you. The news never stops. You can find us anywhere you stream live news. I'm Kira Phillips. So glad you're with us on this Monday. We do have a lot more news up next. Don't go far.